Leon. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's start again.
That's okay. Yeah.
Good evening.
Good morning.
Oh, I think Joe just stepped away. Oh.
No, he's closing the door. Anyway.
Anyway, we are very much honored to have with us Dr. Joseph Chang. He's the Chief Scientific Officer for Nu Skin with us, and we'll uh, have a friendly chat with him, okay,
Yes.
about what Pharmanex and Nu Skin is all about, okay? Hi, Joe.
Hello, Dr. Joe Chan.
Oh, hi, Pat. Hi, Marguerite. So good to be spending an hour or so with you and everybody. I notice you have a pretty big crowd, over 200 people are
Yes.
joining this particular call.
Yeah, because it's you, Joe. You're the star.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah.
Okay, now in terms of introduction, okay, let me see if I can get this right. Dr. Joe was born in Ipoh, Malaysia, went to study in England, and he got his Doctor of Pharmacology degree from the University of London, and he also did postdoctoral research from Johns Hopkins University. That's why he knows Maryland.
Ooh.
And he knows all about Maryland blue crabs.
Ooh. Come back here. We'll take you for blue crab, okay?
Thanks, Marguerite. That's great. So nice
And
to know.
after graduation, he's worked on advanced research with pharmaceutical companies, and finally he and Dr. Michael Chang co-founded Pharmanex in 1994. And before I forget, he's also the author of this book, best-selling book, The Aging Myth. Okay, oops.
Yeah, now you can see it.
Yeah, so those of you who are interested, well, I think you can get it from Amazon, right, Joe?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
I think it's still available. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. So much for the introduction. So, Joe, tell us a bit, more about yourself and how did you wind up working with Michael Chang and founding or finding Pharmanex or establishing Pharmanex.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Pat. It's thank you for the kind introduction and everything. It's really interesting when Michael and I were thinking about an idea of starting a company. We actually started to think of all the things we have done in our career, because both Mike and myself, we are scientists, obviously. And at a time when we were thinking about Pharmanex, we were both working in the drug companies. Mike was with Merck and I was with Wyatt, now part of Pfizer. And we were thinking, okay, we've done quite a bit in terms of discovering drugs to treat various diseases and so on. And if you don't know anything about drug discovery, it's very interesting. Both Mike and I share the same experience. He at Merck and myself at Wyatt. Whenever we wanted to discover or develop a new drug, we always seem to go back to what we call our natural product library. And Mike and I, both companies have a very large collection of different types of natural products, including traditional Chinese medicine herbs. So our knowledge about natural products evolved from that. We say there's a lot of value because without this natural product library, I don't think we would ever discover some of these modern drugs that we are currently using to treat diseases.
Mm-hmm.
And because we don't know where to start, right? Even though when we say, okay, there's a particular molecular mechanism in cellular function that we wish to intervene or inhibit or somehow block, where do you start to find something, some substance that can actually eventually become a drug? So invariably, we both tend to use our natural product libraries to discover the first molecule or the first substance. And then once we discovered it, what our companies will tell us to do is to hand this particular substance or extract, natural product extract, to our chemical colleagues, our chemists in the company. And they will then take that molecule, identify it, its structure, chemical structure, and then modify the chemical structure in such a way to come out with a brand new chemical substance. The reason for doing that is really because most drug companies, not all drug companies, they do want to patent a new molecule.
Mhm.
Because if you can patent a new molecule, no competitor can actually use that molecule to become a drug. And that's what they call, we want something novel, we want something patentable, so that we can protect all the natural substances and ingredients that we have in the product library. They can't patent it. So economically, there's no incentive to develop those natural extracts as potential drugs for the future. So after so many years working in this with this particular approach, Mike and I are starting to think, well, because one thing that is always seems very obvious to us is that when we find something that's active in the natural product library, that extract seems to be very safe. And it seems to have very few side effects. And the activity, its drug potential is so high that we always wonder why those pharmaceutical companies don't wish to develop it. So Mike and I were sort of thinking about it, and we both decided that, well, if the big drug companies are not really interested, maybe we wanted to come out and start our own company, very much similar to all of you, insofar as starting your own business, right? But we were thinking it from the scientific angle. And we said, why don't we use the knowledge that we have gained on all these natural products, and we start a new company based on these kind of natural substances. The second factor, when I think about it scientifically, or reason that we wanted to start Pharmanex is we both began to understand that in order to be healthy, you really want to prevent diseases from happening. Treating a disease is great, and drugs do that, but it's such a targeted approach, it's such a narrow approach to keeping people healthy that we think we can broaden it. Because diseases, in a way, are very localized. It's usually focused on a particular tissue or a particular part of the body. You can use a drug to treat it, and you can take away the disease, but eventually, for you to become healthy again, you really need the body to heal itself. So in English, there is a difference between healing and curing and treating a disease. So we say we much rather, I think we can get really good, effective products, even better than drugs, if you will, if we can help the body to heal. So that was the second reason. By looking at these two reasons, we think we have a fairly good idea to start a new company, and we obviously eventually call it Pharmanex. So those were the two major reasons why we think a company like Pharmanex could add value to people's overall health. And we were quite knowledgeable about Chinese medicine and so on and so forth as well. And if you really look at Chinese medicine, when we think about it, since we are both scientifically trained in the Western way, our way of translating Chinese medicine is that the philosophy is to treat the body in a holistic way. In other words, you look at the body as a whole and not just as different parts of the body and focus on that. And that's really sums up the Pharmanex approach. And we didn't want to develop any new drugs. We really want to focus on nutritional supplements or health supplements. So that idea came into being in 1995. And then we raised about $38 million to start the company. And it was pretty interesting that the story that I'm telling you now is very similar to the story that we told the investors. You know, it was our business plan, and they think there was an opportunity there as well. So we raised 38,000. We developed a few of these nutritional supplements. We launched it in the U.S., close to about 30,000 stores around the country. And then in 1998, which we late 97, you can imagine, 95 to 97 was barely just slightly over 2 years. The company came called New Skin to come and visit with us. And they were initially interested in a product called Colestin, which I think many of our listeners and people here in this particular discussion, you're still in Asia, and I think that product is still available in Asia, called Colestin, red yeast rice. It was a Chinese herb in a way, or a Chinese medicine. And we got a sort of knowledge about that particular red yeast rice from a Chinese pharmacopoeia, several hundred years old. It's in Mandarin, I think it's called the Benjiang Gangmu. And that's where we got this red yeast rice story from. And what we did, and this is where the East meets with the West, we use our scientific approach and use it to test to see whether the red yeast rice is really effective. And we found that with the help and collaboration at UCLA, a university here in Los Angeles, we found that it was really effective in lowering cholesterol. So that was really good. We think, there is something here. And our pharmaceutical approach, our scientific method, and if you put it together with all these ancient knowledge we have about herbs and natural products from other parts of the world, we would be able to bring some of these products to the market in a scientific way and in a very proper way. What we wanted to do, the reason why I brought up the pharmaceutical approach to Pharmanex is because the pharmaceutical approach that we have learned, one of its biggest advantages is the fact that it brings consistency to a product, right? And we think that consistency is very important in developing a product. And there's a consistency, the quality of the raw material that we start with, the safety aspects. There are no toxic contaminants, all the other things. After all, we're dealing with natural products, and it is really very misleading, in fact, for some companies to say that all natural products are safe. You can take them. But if I say, wait a minute, that doesn't make logical sense, because if you say that all natural products are safe, if I turn it around and say, if I give you a snake venom to drink, that's a natural product. Would you take it? I doubt anybody listening on this call would take a snake venom product immediately and think that it's safe, right? So there's no logical sense with that particular statement. So we must be able to test and analyze all natural products. So that idea eventually became what we call the 6S process. I'm so glad that this is an important aspect of Pharmanex that you showed during the introduction in the video, because that's the biggest difference we have in Pharmanex and now in New Skin as well, this so-called 6S process, because it proves with that particular process, we can prove that our products are safe and they are also effective. It's not much point making our products effective and yet they're not safe. Or at least we don't have the scientific evidence or the evidence to prove that it's safe. That's very important to us, and that's really the philosophy and the approach that we have taken to develop that 6S process. In fact, the 6S process, when we started it, there were actually no, especially in the US, there were no government guidelines to regulate this kind of nutritional supplements.
Okay, Joe.
And when they finally came out with the manufacturing requirements and the manufacturing specifications, when we looked at it, we sort of smiled to ourselves. It was almost exactly identical to the 6S process that we have already have in our product development process.
Well, for those who may be new in Pharmanex, can you explain what 6S
Yes.
is all about?
So the 6S, sometimes when New Skin bought and acquired Pharmanex in 1998, around about October of 98, I had to go up and explain to all the non-scientists up there what we're doing, just like I'm trying to explain to you why we started Pharmanex and what Pharmanex is doing. And I was struggling. I said, if I use too many scientific terms, I'm going to get everybody to go to sleep, right? Because they're not scientists. They won't appreciate what I'm doing and so on and so forth. And so I have to find another way to explain to them. And I say, maybe the 6S process would help. The reason why we call it the 6S process is because there are 6 steps in our development and manufacturing process. All right. For example, the first S that represents what we call sourcing. And that is to make sure that when we actually buy or acquire the raw materials to start our product development process, that raw material has to be of the highest quality. You know, and I think many of you would also appreciate, if you're in computer, you can have the best computer in the world, but when you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out at the other end. All right. So it doesn't really matter how powerful your thing is. You must start with good, high quality raw material. In this instance, that would be herbs, herbal raw material. Let's say the lingji mushroom, right? We buy tons of these mushrooms. But if the mushroom is not clean or the mushroom is not high quality, it's not much point taking that raw material and convert it to what we now have a product we call Reishi Max. All right. So lots of competitors are selling lingji products, frankly, and so on and so forth. What is the difference in terms of what we do? The difference is our Reishi Max, if you use it today, we can guarantee you will get the same identical product a year from now, 5 years from now, because we first use the first S, that's the sourcing of the material, and then we do a second S, and that is to standardize the active ingredients in Reishi Max. Okay, so most of the, it's likely that 90% of the Reishi Max is not the active ingredients. It really, we have to isolate the active ingredient. And then once we have isolated the active ingredient, we can then put in the right amount into Reishi Max, for example, every time. If we put in 100 milligrams, we know we have to put in 100 milligrams of the active ingredient into Reishi Max. Not 100 milligrams of the lingji mushroom powder. That one will do you no good, because if you use the raw, if you take the mushroom and make it into a powder and then say, okay, I'll take 100 milligrams every time, put it, it doesn't work, because this is a natural product. Every season, the mushroom could contain different amounts of the active ingredient, right? I'll give you an example. Why is it that certain wines, you know, from the same vineyard, 1 year is more expensive than the other year? Right? The 2000, I'll just choose a year. Why is it that 2010 Opus One is better than 2014 Opus One wine? You know, that's because the natural, that grape that is growing there is affected by rain, affected by temperature, affected by humidity, you know, and so many things can affect it. It's from the same identical vine, grapevine, for the grape, but it varies from year to year. So we must know what the active ingredient is in the Pharmanex product. So once we know that, we then do our safety study. You know, we have to make sure that the final extract that we have and we put it into the product, that it is safe. You know, we do all the clinical studies and so on. So that would be a third S. The fourth S would be specifications. Because without specifications for Reishi Max, we will never, without knowing 100 milligrams of the active ingredient, then another ingredient we put in, and we set the specifications. Then in the future, even when we are not around, or there's a new team of scientists or whatever, they can manufacture that product the same identical way. Okay? And then finally, when we have done all these consistency type of studies and specifications and so on, then we have to make sure it works. And that is what is related to the fourth S, and that's substantiation. All right. So the substantiation would mean we have to do scientific studies. There's one thing that we are committed to in Nu Skin, and that is we don't just say our products are good or our products are safe and effective. We know they're safe and effective. And the reason why we know is because we do the studies. That's what our science is all about. We want to know, we want to share the data with all of you and so on, and not just listening to me and say, take my word for it, this is good for you. All right? No, this is good for you because of these kind of scientific studies and so on and so forth. That's what we mean by the fourth S, substantiation. Then we have structure and so on, the other two, and that's all these S's together. And now you perhaps be able to appreciate why I say the 6S process is a process that proves our products are safe and effective.
Okay, so what what the 6S process essentially is to say that our products are standardized. That means, you know, we know how much of the active substance is in each capsule, for example. So whether you buy today or buy next year, it'll be the same.
Correct.
Right. So, and also Pharmanex has done experiments to assure that the product is high quality, because we want to make sure it is effective, right, and safe. I mean, safe and effective, those are the operative words, actually,
yes.
for our supplements. I mean, a lot of other companies, they don't do that. They just, it's okay, trust me, you know, this stuff works.
Yes, correct. And that applies, Pat, also to our skincare products, right? So that's equally, and that's actually one of the reasons why Nu Skin bought Pharmanex, is because the same approach can be used for skincare products, for the Nu Skin personal care products as well, the beauty products. Again, we do the same thing. You know, we use the same process to make sure that a cream or a lotion or the gel that you are using with devices like LumiSpa and so on, that when you apply on the skin, that they are not too irritating, they won't cause side effects on the skin and so on, because the skin is also part of the body. So,
okay, so now you and Michael formed Pharmanex. Okay, your products were available in what, 25,000?
Yeah, close to 30,000 stores.
30,000 retail stores.
Yeah.
So what happened? How did you become part of Nu Skin?
Yeah. So when New Skin came and visited with us, and at that time we were in Los Angeles, really, we were on our own, enjoying life, maybe too much, um, nice weather and all that. They were interested in actually licensing colastin.
Really?
Yeah.
Just one
So
product?
they heard about colastin, how great a product it is. We have the scientific studies. So they sent a team to come and visit with us to see whether we would be interested in making colastin available through a direct selling channel, you know. And they explain what New Skin is, a direct selling company. We have, at that time, I think New Skin had about 600,000 um, distributors around the world. And they say we can actually bring your your product internationally. And that was a very interesting thought, because it was right at the time, since we already established ourselves in the US, we also wanted to go international. But being a small company, we lack the funds to really be able to bring colastin to the rest of the world, because it requires another investment. And we have to go and raise millions of dollars, because in the mass market, you know, you have to go out and establish your distribution channel on the business side. And we know in order to do that, it will be, first of all, cost a lot of money, and also it's going to be slow. So when New Skin explained that they can actually, they literally, I still remember when they told us, they can actually bring colastin to all the international markets at that time. I think Japan was there, Taiwan, Hong Kong, China was not yet open yet. Southeast Asia was open, Europe was open. So we thought, wow, you can do it. They say in 6 months. I said, really? You can really open and take colastin internationally in 6 months? Yeah, of course. We've done it before, no problem. And they say, well, okay, that's really interesting. Frankly, at that time, I was pretty skeptical, because I know nothing about direct selling and network marketing. I said, that's really, I mean, you guys are just trying to tell me a attractive story so we can license the product to you. But more we talked, the more they explained, we got intrigued, and more we explained what we do. In fact, the more we explained the success process to them, they were also intrigued. And one thing led to another. And finally, they say, instead of licensing your colastin, why don't we just buy the whole company? You know, that was like, okay, you want to buy the whole company, huh? So we say, well, actually, you're not the only one interested. My former company, Wyeth, which became part of Pfizer, was also interested in starting a nutritional or a dietary supplement division to complement their drug business. All right. So they finally woke up and said, oh, this is not a bad complementary category for us to go into. So we already sort of had some interest from Wyeth. And in fact, we said, well, if you're interested, you better make it quick and really put an offer on the table. And they did. And it's not very different from the Wyeth offer. So which then leads to the question, why did you go with New Skin, right? I mean, you would say that going with Wyeth would be better. Big, famous, international, global drug company, right? Very famous. Everybody knows Pfizer. I mean, especially after their vaccine, and even at that time, they're well known. Why go with New Skin? Nobody knows New Skin. It's from Utah. You know, I was in Los Angeles, and frankly, when I first heard about New Skin, in the back of my mind, I didn't think it was a really great company. They can't spell new in English. You know, why would anybody spell NU? So, or a company's name. Anyway, but I think seriously, the biggest reason why we went with New Skin is because, like I mentioned to you, the international reason. And the second reason is because I
Yeah.
think looking at all
Whoa.
Hold it.
okay, all right. So, and because of many of all you leaders in the market whom that we talked to some of them at that time, we find we can tell this story much better than going with Wyatt, because going with Wyatt is really just using what we're already doing, like 28,000 stores or whatever. Because Wyatt has a much bigger budget, they would just use the same business model to bring our products to the world. You know, we didn't see any difference because we think that our sign story, the quality of our product, and so on, that story can be told much more effectively through our leaders such as yourself. You know, so on the product side, we think that would be a much better marriage. And also being a small company, we were also very frightened at that time, right? We said, well, even if it doesn't work out, it's much harder for New Skin to kill us because they're not as big as Wyatt than for Wyatt to kill us. You know, so if the acquisition doesn't work out, you can imagine with big companies, oh, little company, we bought it, no problem, we just write them off. Big loss, very small loss, doesn't affect our revenue. But with New Skin, it's going to be a very serious decision before they can pull the plug on Pharmanex. Because as a founder, I obviously didn't want Pharmanex to disappear, you know, into thin air just because some CEO or somebody who doesn't understand the business will just say, oh, it's not good, just get rid of it. But in New Skin, I think the commitment was there, the leaders' passion about nutrition and so on. It's a good marriage. Yeah. In fact, right now I'm thinking that we in Pharmanex bought New Skin and not the other way around. So anyway, only for this audience. So that's really our history. And after 23 years, right? Or so, I'm still here, and I think it proves once again. I think it proves that New Skin, when they are committed to doing something, and they really mean it in that sense, right? It's not just words, and I think there's a lesson for everybody listening here as well. That New Skin is very different from any other direct selling company and so on. It's because I think they are truly committed to their leaders and everybody else. And when they say that they're here really for the long term. And it's not just an overnight, you know, flash in the pan kind of company. And we have invested a lot in R&D. Now we have 75 scientists, and both a research center in China, you know, in Fengshan, next to Shanghai, and then we have one in Utah, obviously. So, and between them, we have close to 75 scientists working on skincare and nutritional product.
Yeah, and if you go visit the innovation center, you know, some of the instrumentation you guys have, you know, is almost like a big lab operation.
Yeah. And sometimes science is hard to understand. You know, I totally appreciate that. But then you can see it. Science is not a subject that you don't do. You know, unlike any other subject, science is one that you really have to rely on the evidence. And the only way to get that evidence is to conduct experiments and so on with those types of expensive scientific equipment.
Yeah. Now, it's because of the 6S products, you know, is that the reason some of our Pharmanex products is slightly higher in price than, you know, the competition? Because every extra step you take will increase the cost, right? And, you know, Pharmanex takes the precaution or takes an added step of taking out the junk. But every step you take out the junk, that means you have to do another process that will inevitably add to the cost.
Absolutely, Pat. Absolutely, because I mean, like you say, every step costs and requires an investment. To do that, there are no free lunches in the world, as we say in the States, right? So,
Mhm.
and I'll give you an example. The raw material that we buy, as I mentioned to you, we buy the highest quality. Sometimes when a supplier comes to us and they show us what they have, and we test it and analyze it and say this is really not enough. The quality is not good enough for us. We're not buying it.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
And then what we find out subsequently is they sell that poorer quality raw material to another company because they don't have the ability to analyze or to make sure that the raw material is of the highest quality.
Mhm.
Just a very simple example to explain to you. So we pay a higher price, but I think it really justified at the end of the day that our products do provide these kinds of meaningful benefits, you
Mhm.
know. And when you think about that, um, I think it's good for the business because you can cheat somebody one time,
Mhm.
but you cannot cheat a person 2 or 3 times. Sooner or later, if a product doesn't work, they will find out.
Mhm.
So, and that's why, I mean, it's not that we just want to do the science for the sake of science, just to please the scientists and so on, but it actually has meaning because we know, like I say, that the product is good. We don't just say the product is good.
Right. Right. You have to prove that
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
product
Yeah.
is. Yeah. Well,
So,
now that you mentioned cholesterol, like you said, is red yeast rice,
yeah.
right? Well,
Mhm.
for some legal reason, it's not available in the U.S. But can you tell us a bit more about our cholesterol versus other people's red yeast rice?
Okay. So, you know, if you look at red yeast rice, it's in the Benjiangangmu, as I mentioned to you, right? And historically, it's used to as part of the marinade that all Chinese people use to roast their duck. It's actually part of the red color on roast duck that you see hanging in the various Chinese restaurants.
Wow.
Okay, that was the historical use. It's Hongju. Okay, so it gives that red color, the reddish tint to the roast duck. That's how
Mm.
it started. And doesn't mean that you can eat that roast duck and expect to lower your cholesterol.
You buy roast duck, right?
Not
And
going to
then-
happen.
Hold up on
I just want to
cholesterol.
make sure that you all understand that. However, so red yeast rice is available everywhere. And if you look at red yeast rice visually, you can't tell the difference.
Mhm.
How do you know which one is the one that has the active ingredient? Because that's really what helps to lower the cholesterol. And that's what we found. The active ingredient is red yeast rice. And therefore we know what red yeast rice to buy. Whereas many of the other companies that use red yeast rice in their products, they have no idea of the active ingredient.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's a big difference. So, and we standardize using the 6S process, we standardize to the active ingredient. We don't standardize to red yeast rice.
Mhm.
So, and so that's a big difference. In fact, and that's where also another thing we talk about, that's on the effective part. There's also a safety part. We also know during red yeast rice is a fermented rice product,
Mhm.
right? During the fermentation, if you're not careful, you can also produce a toxin.
Mm.
And we also know the identity of that particular toxin. So we are extremely careful that when we go through our 6S process, which includes extraction, during the extraction of the active ingredient, we eliminate the toxic contaminant if there's any there. So now maybe it's too much information for many of the listeners, but that's really, it's not just about selling a product. It's about making sure that at the end of the day, our products are safe and effective.
Yeah, so Pharmanex does have a very clean and effective product.
Yeah.
Right. We take the necessary steps to make sure we have a clean and safe product.
Yeah. And our innovation hasn't stopped because, our R&D budget has gone up, oh my goodness, 5 times now compared to what we did 20 years ago. So, and we continue to innovate. The scientists are hard at work. And soon, I think, actually next week, yeah, maybe it's next week or in the next couple of weeks, we're going to launch a new supplement called Meta.
Wow. Okay. I was about to ask you later, but you beat me to it.
I know. Please tell us.
Okay. So, where should I start? So, Meta is a product. Many of you, I think, probably have heard of our ageLOC products, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you also heard about how we have used gene technology to help us discover and develop these kinds of ageLOC products.
Right.
What you haven't realized, excuse me, over the last 5 or 6 years, from our ageLOC science, the scientists are beginning to appreciate there's another aspect of health that we should focus on. And that is that the gastrointestinal tract, the GI system, we call it, is very important to health. The reason for that is because I think we all know, right, that in the gut, in order to sort of digest our food, get absorption, get everything, we actually have a whole population of good bacteria in the gut to maintain optimal gut health.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if I collect all your gut bacteria together and weigh it, it probably can weigh as much as 5 pounds.
Whoa.
There's a lot. You have more bacteria cells in your gut than in your whole body collected together. So the question has always become in science, why is that bacteria sitting there in the gut? What does it do? Surely it must be doing something good because we all have it.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't have it, it's pretty bad because if you don't have good bacteria in your gut, you get chronic diarrhea. That's the mildest of all the side effects. So it's doing something good there. So now we know this population of good bacteria and so on in the gut is called the microbiome. That's what the science is teaching us. So we at about the same time 6-7 years ago, we found a series of ingredients that are really very important for gut health. It seems that these ingredients feed the good bacteria. So we say one thing led to another, to cut the story short, and we blended some of these ingredients together, and we did our scientific study, and we found that indeed it helps the gut, but it does much more than that. It also seemed to be, once you get the gut healthy and so on, the good benefits spread throughout the body. All right. In fact, it's so widespread, the benefits. When we look at those benefits, we're looking at what we call metabolic health. It's almost as if your body, once they take this particular set of a blend of ingredients, the body is revitalized. The body now has better ability to recover from anything. It seems to be able to recover. I'll just use an example. If you have an illness, it seems to be able to rebound. It goes back to to optimal health much quicker in the presence of this product. All right. So the more, and here again, when I was looking at the studies and looking at it and so on, and all the benefits you can get out of Meta, it actually reminds me of what I think this particular audience especially would appreciate it. It's almost like a product that can fortify the body. I think there's a Chinese word for it. In Cantonese, I know I can say it in Cantonese much better than in Mandarin. It's 保身啊。
保身。
保身啊，对啊，补啊。It's sort of, in English it will be fortification. It helps the body to recover. It helps the body to rebound. Things like that. It's so what is bow after all, right? It's really a holistic way of looking at the body. You're now protecting the whole body and not one tissue or organ. And that's why we were very excited. That's why it took us 6-7 years to be able to be comfortable to launch Meta. It's finally, I think we have reached a state with age-lock signs, with this microbiome studies and so on, that we are able, maybe for once, a science-based bold product, if you will, a fortifying product.
I know.
Okay. And you didn't tell us anything about this? Jeez.
No, we can't tell you because you know our leaders, right, Pat and Marguerite? Marguerite will be traveling around the world, telling everybody we have a new product, and we don't even know when we're going to launch it yet.
So what's the plan right now?
Say that again.
What's the plan right now for the United States?
Yeah, the United States, I think, is going to do a small launch by the end of this month, but we're going to launch it in China first. I think, or at least to a new business model, new channel.
Oh, well, I think it's available in Hong Kong.
Yeah, it's available in
Hong Kong and Taiwan, and then Southeast Asia, I think, is getting it too, right?
Yes, yeah. And we already sort of have some preview or feedback from some of the folks.
Yeah.
And it's actually quite surprising to me. It's working faster than I thought.
Ooh.
You see,
it's working faster
watch it, Joe. If you look at our attendance list here, a lot of them are from Hong Kong and Taiwan.
And then Malaysia, Singapore, maybe China too, actually.
These folks may be losing
Korea.
their sleep.
Somebody just says Korea.
They may be losing their sleep tonight, thinking about Meta.
Serena just says it's very good. After you take it, you sleep very well.
You see, it's not just sleep. Some people are getting all kinds of energy. It's a game, this is really, I'll go back to using the English word. It's fortifying the body. It's really, that's the amazing thing. It really is doing that. And it's because we sort of understand why it's doing it. Again, the science is quite complicated, but it's really linking the genes to the function of a cell. It's managed to link the whole chain of events together and make it really strong, what we call the biochemical pathway. So that's Meta.
And somebody just said it in a chat that somebody lost 7 inches of waist in 22 days. I know she's from Hong Kong.
Yeah, she's probably taking TR90. So I'm not sure. I hope she's doing it well. Yeah. But it's a good compliment. In fact, it reminds me to tell you guys, it's also, it's an absolute complementary to the TR90 system too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
But wow, you have 400 people listening to you. Okay. Everybody wants it now.
I hope they understand what I'm saying. I hope sometimes science, frankly, when I hear some of our scientists talk, and sometimes, my goodness, I say, oh boy, some of the words they use, it sounds like English, but I can't understand it because they're so scientific.
Yeah,
But
well,
hopefully,
I mean, I've been following, a lot of this integrative medicine stuff, and they've been
Yeah.
mentioning the the what the biome, the bacteria in your gut and leaky gut and all that.
Yeah.
So very glad that
Mhm.
Pharmanex has come up with a product that deals with the GI tract.
yeah. We knew it was
Because
going to be big. Meta, when we started, it was actually just say, okay, it's a good gut health product. But boy, once we started to do the scientific studies and began to understand what it's doing to the rest of the body, it's just, it just one thing led to another. That's the discovery, right? Yeah. So,
well, we
what I'm
are
saying.
very glad that we have a bunch of scientists working on this.
Yeah.
Instead of relying on
just-
other people's research and extract the information from their research so
Yeah.
to formulate your own product.
Yeah. I used to tell a joke that, any product that's really good is I did it all by myself. And if the product doesn't work and it's not good, blame all the other
Yeah.
75 scientists. Okay. Only kidding. That's really that. It's really due to all those scientists. They're incredible. They really are.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I was
All
about
right.
to ask you the age lock and how it came about and how is the science applied to skincare and Pharmanex products. So now that you talk about Meta, that's just almost beside the point.
I know that I saw a question that came up, Pat, that says, how do I feel after taking Meta? They obviously know that I'm usually the first guinea pig, right, for any new product. So I'm sitting here talking to you. That's usually a good sign because our scientists have no respect for me at all. They usually give me a new product to test on Friday afternoon. And they say, why don't you take this over the weekend? And if we see you on Monday, the product is probably safe. If we don't see you on Monday, I think we should drop that particular product.
Yeah, we'll go back to the lab, right? Start again.
So
you know,
usually
Joe,
I'm the
No, you're-
first guinea pig.
are you also the guinea pig for collagen? Because your skin looks so good. How many
you.
collagen do you take a day? Ooh.
Oh,
Oh.
I usually take one in the morning. It's actually, it's incredible with the collagen product because I can mix it with my orange juice or any other fruit beverage in the morning for my
G3,
breakfast.
G3.
Yeah, G3 or whichever, and it's great, right? So because it's a ready to drink. I'm sorry, this is just for the U.S. audience because this drink is not available in
That was
Hong
right.
Kong. Are they doing Hong Kong? Hang on a minute. They're doing.
No, they have the powder.
drink.
They have the
They have
powder.
the powder,
China
right?
have the gel.
I always think Americans in general, we over here are so lazy. We don't want to mix it. We just want to go drink it one time and throw away the packaging. Whereas all my Asian friends and colleagues are so much better. They're willing to be more green, I mean, one cup, you take 1 teaspoon, mix it with water and drink it. It's great. Yeah, it's I take one and then have another one in the evening. Yeah, that's great.
Ooh.
Great product.
Wow, take two.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
good.
someone in this household takes 3.
Well, that's good. For the lunch too, right?
Yeah. 3 times a
Yeah.
day. Wow. That's good.
Okay. No, it's really a great product, and it's another one that I somewhat am a little bit disappointed with the marketing people in New Skin because it's really not just a collagen product. It's the most complete beauty supplement that's been clinically proven. It's a big difference. We did not copycat a collagen product outside,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
Because there are 2 other equally important ingredients, active ingredients in Beauty Focus. I refuse to call it collagen plus product. I rather call it by the first two names, Beauty Focus product, because that's what when we started developing this particular product, we asked the question: is it possible to have a supplement to bring beauty from the inside out? We did not ask the question: can we copy a collagen product because it is so popular?
Okay.
You
Well,
know.
now, okay. So, can you explain that a little better? A bit further. We have collagen plus two other ingredients, correct?
Yeah. So, again, right? Oh, how could I make this story short and sweet? Okay, you have collagen, no doubt. We have the collagen in there. And we know the collagen will build new collagen in the skin, right? Okay, great. Other competitive products claim that they can do the same thing.
Okay.
But think about it. It's on the skin, which means your lifestyle hasn't changed that much. You're still going out to the sun, right? You're still not sort of getting enough sleep, knowing our leaders and so on, having too many late night suppers and all. So in other words, your lifestyle hasn't changed. And those habits can damage collagen. The reason why they can damage collagen is because the skin with bad lifestyle habits will produce more free radicals.
Okay.
Like when you go out into the sun, when the sun shines on your face, why do you think Asian people go around in the sun with an umbrella? Have you seen it anywhere else? It's because you want to shade the UV from their skin, right? So they know that it can be damaging. So the question then becomes, what's the point of making new collagen when you still have the damage that happened, even to new collagen in the skin? So we put in the second ingredient, which is an antioxidant called lutein that goes from our studies that go once you take it, it goes from the blood into the skin and stays there. It almost looked like once you make the new collagen, the antioxidant will wrap up the collagen and protect it. So it doesn't get damaged as quickly.
I see.
All right. Then the third ingredient, which is what we call the phytoceramides in that, there's a reason for that. And that's because what does every person, when you go visit your skin doctor, what does the skin doctor say? Oh, doctor, what should I do to protect my skin? Moisturize, moisturize, moisturize. In other words, keep water in your skin. And that's what the phytoceramides do. Because the phytoceramide chemically, we know this particular molecule. Once it sees water, it holds on to the water like sponge.
Okay.
So you keep moisture in your skin from the inside out. So what do you have, right? You build collagen, you protect collagen, and you keep water to moisturize your skin. What more do you want?
Okay.
Three most important things to keep your
So
skin looking healthy and smooth and so on, and lacking wrinkles.
You get a really complete product, essentially.
That's now you're beginning to perhaps appreciate why I say this is a more complete beauty supplement rather than just a collagen product.
Yeah, because we've run into that question. Just another collagen. How's yours different?
Then you talk about
I think
price.
everybody can explain it.
Yeah. Then you talk about price. Then you talk about all these things.
Yeah. Because of our success. That's why the price. Yeah. Okay.
No, not only that, we have two extra ingredients.
Yeah.
Without collagen, so.
Well, our price is competitive, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's very good.
Wow.
All right.
Now, we can make
That's
up
a bonus.
now we have now we have two weapons in our hands, right? Meta and beauty focus.
Yeah.
And TR90. Yeah.
And TR90. And it's something that we can talk about next year. Then
Yeah, I
you
heard-
have that
Mhm.
if you take your beauty focus product, your Lumi Spa will work better.
Yes, that's true. Yes, absolutely.
So,
With the Lumi Spa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's coming up next year?
TR90. Something new with TR90, right? I heard a rumor.
I can't talk too much about those products next year.
Oh,
you have to
okay.
wait. You have to wait until next year. And all the people listening to this call, you guys are all going to be team lead or super brand representatives in China and so on. Okay.
Okay.
Trust that.
All right.
We are good in keeping secrets, Joe.
No, yeah, right.
The two of
How
us,
long have I known you now?
the two of us are very good in keeping secrets.
Yeah, I've known
Trust,
you for too
trust
long.
us. Trust
Yeah.
us. But anyway,
Okay.
wow. Oh, it's after 11 here already. Gee.
Yes, I know.
No. Well, for you, it's still early. It's only what?
10
9 o'clock.
Yeah.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. I know.
Yeah.
Do we have another question? A last question
I don't
here?
know if, well,
Do you have time for one more question? I think we're going to
Yeah.
ask
there's
you.
so many. Wow. Oh. Boost, H block boost.
Mhm.
Is that
Yes.
coming to the States? It's supposed to come here
This
Christmas
year.
time.
In the US,
Uh-huh.
we still have not gotten the final approval from the FDA yet.
Mm,
Mm.
okay. We have the
Okay.
cream already. Yeah. We have the
Yes,
serum.
that's the challenge because in the US, the FDA has to approve such beauty devices.
Mm.
Ah, okay.
Mm.
All right.
Well, we have enough to work already.
Yeah.
I mean,
We have not.
with beauty focus and then
Yes, that's
later
the other
on,
reason too.
Meta. Maybe you should slow down a little bit. We can't handle all these
Yeah.
new exciting
Talk
products.
about it.
you know.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, with Meta, I noticed there was a question that, typically for most of our products, try and take it with after you've eaten something, especially in the morning. Don't take some of our products. In fact, most of our supplements on an empty stomach. Some of you have fairly sensitive stomach. It's good to have some food in your stomach before you take these supplements. Okay.
Okay.
So, any information about Groovy? We have. I
Grovey.
know that our yin yang mask is
Yeah.
using Grovive.
Yes.
And are we planning to have more product Grovive?
I think we are planning to have more, what we call it, control, CEA, control environment agriculture,
Mhm.
grown plants, ingredients to put into our products. Whether it comes from Grovive or not, it may not be possible to have them do all the products, but it is clearly one of our sort of goals to make our products more sustainable, if you will. You know.
Mhm. Not only that, I think you have even better quality control too, right?
Yeah.
You're growing the stuff yourself
Exactly.
under controlled conditions. Yeah. Well, let me see if anybody else has any questions.
Yeah, I guess if anybody has questions. Ooh, you're opening the door for interesting stuff. Okay.
We can spend here the whole night.
I know. No, we're gonna allow 3 questions. How about that? That's it.
Okay, I thought that was the last question, but we'll go for another 3.
I mean, from the audience. From the
Okay.
audience.
Oh, now it's on the audience. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's a long thing.
Boy, there's a long message.
Serena always asks this question. How old are you?
Yeah.
Let's move on to the question.
Okay. This is Dr. Joe Chan. For the upcoming supplementa, is this suitable for younger boy, age around 22 years old, with GI issue in the past history 3 years, internal bleeding, ulcer, and constantly stomach pain
Ooh.
problem. Ooh. Do you suggest taking Meta?
Ooh,
Ooh.
that's a loaded question.
Yeah. I don't think it would. It's not meant to treat those kinds of conditions, but if it's okay for that person to take the Meta product, it's okay. All right. I'm just don't know whether you will get any benefits for that particular condition, like bleeding ulcers or whatever it is. All right, because
No.
there's nothing to do with the GI, what you call it, the bacteria, the microbiome.
Right.
That's due
Maybe.
to something else.
Maybe you should
Yeah.
check for what? H. pylori.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
Bacteria.
somebody asked a very silly question, but let's say it because I think he understood wrong. He says, why other supplement does not need FDA approval, but Meta needs? I do not think Dr. Joe Chan said that Meta needs. We said that the boost, our
H-Lock boost,
our
the
H-Lock
machine.
boost, the gadget needs it.
You
not
might
Meta.
maybe that person doesn't know what Boost is. Boost is a device. Hopefully you understand. It's not a supplement.
Yeah. H-Lock, I mean,
Is it H-Lock boost?
H-Lock boost.
Yeah,
The proper
H-Lock
name should be H-Lock boost.
Yeah.
It's a device,
Okay.
almost like the facial spa. Almost.
Correct.
Well, okay.
Okay.
Somebody has a question. I think this is the last question. Somebody asked, I have customers asking me why our fish oil is so much better.
Well, our fish oil. I just gave you a whole hour explanation
Success.
I know.
how to do our
I
ingredients.
know.
That's why our fish oil is better. Yeah.
Okay.
He just woke up, apparently. Huh?
I know. Oh, what? Okay. Somebody mentioned that the vegetarians cannot take our beauty focus. If they want beauty to have collagen, then they need to take it.
Yeah, if they're ugly vegetarian, I think they definitely need to take it, right? So, but I think I know where the question is coming from because the collagen is from animal sources.
Right.
Yeah.
So we can't help that. I mean,
You can't help that. Yeah. Sorry.
I don't think you can find collagen in plants, right? Can you?
No, but some companies have been using fish,
Oh,
so they're not very strict vegetarians, if you will, or vegans. So
I thought-
some can eat
yeah,
fish.
some vegetarians won't even eat fish for that
Yeah,
matter.
correct. So they're called vegans. Anyway, you can't help it. Like you say, Pat, you can't get collagen from anywhere else
Yeah.
but from an animal source.
I think that's more interesting. What is the relationship between Meta and TR90? Ooh. But we know taking it together, you have much better result. And you need to measure yourself before you start. And I think for Thanksgiving, we already gained 5 pounds. So I know during Christmas and New Year, probably would gain, I hope not too much, maybe 1 pound, 2 pounds. So we're going to start TR90 again, January.
Well, hopefully Meta will be available to us by that time, right?
Yeah. Well, we don't know that, but we have to probably get from someone who has the product.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I already mentioned that the Meta helps the body to rebound quicker, right, and to recover quicker. So it's resetting the metabolism in the body to more optimal level. So when you do that, I think most people will understand it will have a benefit to enhancing whatever they're doing to reduce weight. Okay, so make TR90 better. In and on itself, whether you can lose weight on its own, we don't have any studies to show that yet. You know, what I do know is that the Meta product, when we look at the heat map, you remember when we launched H-Log, we always show you some heat maps, you know, gene expression profile heat maps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after taking it, when we do a similar heat map with meta, after taking meta, that heat map looks very, very similar to somebody who is active.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, there's the last one
Well,
here
would,
it says.
would
Okay.
these heat maps be available later on when Meta
I
is
think we
gone?
already shared. We could have. Yeah, when we launch it in the US and so on, you will share it again. Yeah.
Okay.
But we have. We want to get it published first. Yeah.
Okay, if you look at the chat, somebody said, Dr. Joe, what supplement would you recommend for someone with brain condition, cerebral palsy? Just, I think
Wow, that's
basic
that's-
nutrition.
Yeah, that's too
Yeah,
again
it's
a
not.
medical question, so
Yeah.
we can't answer that.
Okay.
Okay.
Another, let's see, there was one.
You've gone over 3, Marguerite.
I know. Okay, that's
It's
it.
now
That's this
up
one.
to number 9.
It says, Dr. Joe Chen, I'm Angela from Malaysia with I presume she's saying my son autism testimony are R-square. Thank you for great heart. I just want to ask with which collagen product in Malaysia? I guess Malaysia does not have collagen yet, I presume. So this person, Peng NG, wants to have collagen in Malaysia.
Yes.
I guess they're getting it sometime later.
Oh yeah, we just have to get it registered with the government, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Malaysia Ministry of Health is always very slow in getting products registered. So we're just waiting for their approval to launch it. But it will be the same collagen product beauty focus that we get here in the US.
Ooh, good.
Well, would there be any difference between some markets they have the beauty focus in powder form? It's the same thing, right? It's
Same
just-
thing. Australia has it in powder form.
Yeah, orange flavor, I think it's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
good. Yeah.
Okay.
I do know for me taking it, I take 3-pack a day, you know that.
Yeah.
My nails got better because I am mature, very mature. So my nails starting having grooves. And then now taking 1-pack, it didn't do anything. Taking 2-pack, 3-pack, but it took 3 months because it takes time for the nail to grow.
Absolutely.
So now it's more beautiful, younger.
Yep, absolutely. Your hair will get better too. So, sorry. Shouldn't do it to you.
Oh, that's right. So
It's true.
Okay.
It's,
Well,
all right.
okay. Now let me see if Carrie wants to come
yes,
in.
I know.
She's the one that's
Yes,
organizing all this.
Yes. So there's Carrie Zhang. She is second level to Betty Song. And she and I team up to do this monthly program. So I think we like to introduce her. No, OBC, wouldn't it?
Huh?
Carrie, Jennifer, no.
Well,
Carrie,
Carrie,
are you on? Can you unmute yourself? Carrie 老师. Hello.
nope.
And then you see in front of you, Leon is also a team lead from LA, downline of Carrie, and he is in charge of this monthly program, which is really lots of work, but very good. Carrie 老师, are you on?
Guess not.
Okay.
I see Tai Chi. That's great. Hi, Tai Chi.
Yeah, I know Tai Chi showing that meta behind him,
Yeah, I see you already showing the
Yeah.
purple product.
Yeah. Some people like to show off,
Yeah.
See, we in the US are very envious of that. No.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Leon, Carrie 老师在吗？
在的，有没有听到他的声音？刚刚
没有，能不能把它 unmute？
啊，他是不是他这个
I don't
有没有
know
听到声音？
没有，
？Anyway，
现在有没有听到我的声音？
我有听到 ，Yes, I hear you, Leon，可是我听不见。
哦，我知道，我
Carrie
可能
老师
英文频道。
Anyway，
中文频道。
Yeah.
Carrie 老师到英文频道来。
我们要转到英文频道才可以。
哦，我们要转到我们是在 English，No？
对，
We are off both.
有没有听到我的声音？
听到 Leon
好
听到你的声音 ，Yes。
我有听到 Kerry 老师的声音。